want to share a couple of thoughts with you guys. Thoughts that I've been having as I've been reading some philosophy, some ancient philosophy. And one of the things that really stands out is the questions that the pre-Socratic philosophers were thinking about, and then Socrates and Plato also contributed to this. The major question they were asking was, what is that one thing that keeps reality intact? And so a number of ideas were proposed, right? One of them was that it was water, that was the main element, or fire, or it was air. And we see this, by the way, in modern art, films. And what's unique is that the answers that they were trying to give were of material nature. And then one of these guys comes around and says, maybe it's not water or fire, maybe it's a mind. Now, mind you, he also gave material elements to this mind, but this gets developed a bit further in Socrates. Now, Socrates was more of an ethicist, we can say, and was thinking about behavior and things of this sort, rather than the metaphysical ideas or the epistemological ideas. But it's very difficult to determine this, because everything we know, almost everything we know about Socrates is written down by Plato, and it's difficult to tell where Socrates kind of ends and Plato begins. Plato deals further with this idea of the mind, something that's beyond the real physical material universe. But there's a uniqueness in the way he presents this. And the way he presents this, and we really see this in his allegory of the cave, is that the material world is just a shadow. It's not the real thing. The real thing is found in this mind, this logos. And because it's a shadow, because it's imperfect, it's actually not something that's desirable. The natural conclusion that one comes to is that the physical world, especially the physical body that a human being inhabits, is something that should be escaped.
Hey, it's good to see you here on Apologia Center. This is a ministry that's there to provide you, the viewer, with content that's going to be informative for you, that you can learn from and apply into your life as you develop your worldview formation as a Christian. If you're not a Christian, you're more than welcome to be on this channel and maybe be challenged by some of the claims of Christianity and challenge us with your claims in a friendly, respectful way. I think this is a channel like no other on YouTube, frankly, because of the community we've developed. So if you want to be a part of this community, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If you aren't subscribed, join us on Discord and jump onto our Patreon and just be a part of the community.
So the purpose of life becomes being more virtuous. There's a reincarnation element in here, and then escaping the physical world. As this idea gets developed and thought about, and other thinkers come about it, agreeing, disagreeing, it isn't until the Christian thinkers where people say these are good things and these are bad things. This mind idea is great, and this really is shown in John 1:1. It says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, and the Word became flesh. And the word there for word is logos, or logos. And it solves one of the issues that Plato's idea, which is what's called a communication problem. You know, if it's an impersonal force that is this perfect reality that everything is a shadow of, how does that get communicated in the physical world? And in John 1:1, we are told, and the idea is proposed, that the logos is actually a person and therefore has a choice to create the material world. That's amazing. And the other issue it solved, which naturally, you know, when we read John 1:1, in the beginning was, we think back to Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And when you read the creation account, that God creates, first day it was good, second day it was good, and 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 he rested. It was all good, and he rested. Which is to tell us that the material world is something that is actually good. It's not something that we ought to escape from, like it's a prison. Our bodies are not, though we live in a fallen world, but the material world is actually a good thing. It is the way God intended things to be. And so you don't fall into this trap of thinking the non-physical is what is desirable and the physical which is not. This is actually a non-Christian way of thinking. There's an early heretical movement that is known as the Gnostics, and the Gnostics thought like this. And it really breaks my heart, and it's extremely sad to see that a lot of Christians think like this. They think that the physical world, I call them suicidal Christians, they want to run away from the physical world, where I think the biblical case is given to us where no, the physical world is beautiful. Though it is marred, though it is fallen, it is beautiful. And God is redeeming it. And God will redeem it. And we will inhabit a physical world. Our future is not a non-physical existence in heaven. It is a physical existence in the new heavens and the new earth. And Revelation chapter 21 explains this, in which human beings, the people of God, will inhabit the earth with God. He will dwell with us and we will dwell with him, and we will be his people. As I'm sharing this, there's a single rose that is just in my eyesight. The beauty of even just a rose, the beauty of music and of art, the beauty of love and people and friendship. These are things that would have ultimately, in Plato's idea, in the ancient philosopher's idea, would have been something that's meaningful, which seems so counterintuitive, right? And a lot of us don't think like this. And a good question to be asked is, if you don't have a Christian worldview, why do you not think like this? Because it is only within a Christian worldview, it is only within a theistic worldview where you can make sense of these things and you can value these things in and of themselves, because those things that God has created are actually beautiful and good, and we're not actually to escape them, but to embrace them, to love them, to learn, to enjoy. So I wanted to just share some of those ideas as I've been processing it. Hopefully that's been beneficial to you. And next time you're sitting down having a conversation with some friends and enjoying some good food, listening to some good music, remember that it is only within a Christian worldview, a biblical worldview, that you can make sense of these things. And challenge your friends, if they don't belong to that worldview, to say, why is it that these things are beautiful? Why is it that you can enjoy these things? Which hopefully will lead to a good conversation. If you're not a Christian, hopefully this has caused you to think a little bit about your worldview. If you guys have questions, comments about this topic, feel free to respond to this video, send me messages, and even if it's for resources, I'll send you some resources where you can read and think about them. Thanks for listening and watching.